Any other discussion? You roll call vote, then Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, motion carried. Next we'll go for years of service. Spam here.
She refuses to accept it, but I will accept it for her.
She doesn't want to come forward.
Bashful.
Next, we're doing a recognition for employment, years of service. First, we had Pam Winholm, she's with the auditor's office. She's been here 15 years with us. I'm gonna give that to the auditor presenter. Next, then we have a retirement from the road department, Kerry Kitson. He's been with the county for 42 years and 5 months. He just retired.
Wow.
It's a long time for this.
Picture here. A smile.
Aaron Rodgers said bye.
Work you did for Swisha, I think.
You want to say something? Go ahead, say the mic. No. You know me better than that. Yeah. One thing I'd like to, thank Kerry for his years of service. That's called a dedication. I only got one problem. I only got 2 of them guys that got 40 some years. I can't taunt that much anymore. As people keep retiring, and it's a great place to work. And his years of service shows it. He told me he's always had a great bunch of commissioners to work for and supervisors. So one thing you could always rely on Kerry. If you needed something, call him. And he had mentioned to me this morning that some of the guys that still work there call for advice and different things. So that's kind of nice that people appreciate working for the county and working as many years as he did. So once again, Kerry, thank you for years of service. We appreciate it.
And it was an honor working with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we'll go on to Stark County Spirit of Excellence Award.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Julie Obergewich, and we had the utmost pleasure nearly 2 weeks ago, tomorrow, to honor an extremely deserving Stark County leader. We honored Irene Schaefer. I said it, and it was mentioned many times at the presentation, but there's probably many people in this room here who have bought raffle tickets from this woman, and she's excellent at it, among many other things. And with that, I have a video that I'd like to share with you all.
What you have accomplished for Dickinson, what you have
We get that other one turned on too? Okay, I didn't know you didn't know that. Apologize.
accomplished for so many people is unbelievable. You can't express the impact that you've had on this community. We can sit here all night and listen and listen. We're probably able to hit a quarter of those things.
Good and gracious God, we come before you, asking you to direct our hearts and actions by the power and inspiration of your Spirit.
And the first thing she says to me, you know what, payback sounds good. Irene is 93 years old and is still on every board or committee that moves this community forward. She is active on the Chamber Committee and with Rotary's fundraising. The Dickinson Area Home Builders is fortunate to have Irene on its board of directors, a committee member for the Home Builder Show, the golf event, and the Christmas party. She is a board member of the DSU Heritage Foundation, a member of API, and an affiliate member of the Badlands Board of Realtors. She is a member of the Republican Party. Irene was a founder, along with myself, of the Power of 100 Women, which has grown to a membership of 250 members. These members have given more than $600,000 to 501c3 charities. She has been the recipient of the Golden Hawk Award from Dickinson State University for her contributions. She was the parade marshal in the Rough Red Parade in 2020. She volunteers and works in many of these organizations. Irene sponsors many events and takes guests with me to get them involved. Well, my dear sister, I probably spend more time with her than I've ever spent with my sisters. Trust me. I'm very proud that you got her.
Irene has been a part of our group since the 80s. She has served in many capacities for our group, but most notably as our executive officer, and has been part of our board of directors for several years. She's a social butterfly. She's somewhat of a bulldog, is tougher than nails, and doesn't have an ounce of quit in her. Congratulations, Irene, you're the best.
What I want to do is I want to thank you on behalf of Dickinson State, the Heritage Foundation, everything that you have done for me personally. I'm watching you walk into the donation house with a smile on your face and how you light up the room. And you try to sell raffle tickets and here you're not very successful at it.
Irene is dedicated to being a mentor and an example to young women. A quote she left us with the other night is one that I'd like to leave you with tonight. We have much to do together. Let us do it in wisdom and love and joy.
Irene Schaefer served the maximum of 6 years on the Chamber Board of Directors and yet remains a contributor to our events and committees. I still believe that we are defined by where we consistently show up. And nobody has shown up more consistently for Dickinson through the years than Irene Schaefer.
Our very own 93-year-old superhero. You have touched and changed lives, many lives, with your generous spirit. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Irene. A real hero of the heart.
I seriously cannot think of a single person who deserves it more and is more entwined with what happens in Dickinson and Stark County and Southwest North Dakota than Irene. I consider Irene a very close friend. I think this is fantastic. I miss you very much, and I can't wait to see you again, and I'm so happy that you got this award. Congratulations.
In terms of impacts on the Republican Party, and well, actually up and down the ballot, even in the nonpartisan races, Irene has probably collected more petition signatures than anyone in the state of North Dakota to get people on the ballot. Irene, this could not go to a better person.
You've taught me so many things. Angels are real. Irene, you often talk about your angels and how they communicate with you and are always watching over you. There's absolutely no doubt this is true. But I think something you may not understand or realize is that, my dear, you are an angel to so many of us in this room. This angel has saved me many times over with her insight, her wisdom, and her friendship.
Good job, Gigi Irene. You are the best.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
Hola. Congratulations on your award. You really deserve it with all your hard work. Yeah, congratulations on the Excellence Award. So happy for you. Love you. Love you, Grandma.
So much congratulations. So proud of you and all of your hard work. Kids and I are all so proud of you. And I don't know what I want to be when I grow up yet, but if I had a chance, I would want to be like you. Thanks for everything you've ever done. Love you bunches.
There's nobody else like this in our community. You are a rock star, a pillar, and it has been a privilege knowing you for 40 plus years. And I'm very privileged, and the city's very privileged to have you. This is for Irene Schaefer in recognition of her outstanding excellence and leadership. Thank you so much.
There are probably a few of you that have some idea of what motivates me, but most of you don't. This goes back to when I was 15 years old in California. My parents
moved out there for 4 years. I spent my high school years there. The parents to most of these kids worked in various jobs, and us kids, we pretty much ran wild. But there was a Lutheran minister that took over a community center, and he kind of took all these kids under his wing. And one night when we had a wild dance, I was standing here talking to him, and I said, Russ, why do you spend so much time with these kids and working with them? And he went on and on and on. And then he said, finally said, someday, Irene, you'll find it in a town, find this town, city, and build a great community. Well, needless to say, between then and the time we moved to Dickinson, I really didn't give it a thought. But when I got here, things started working out, and pretty soon that thought came back to my mind. That was my motivating for this whole thing, is because we're all here to build a great community in our own way. Thank you so much for the support. I really do want to be you. I really do. I have to say, she's a classy lady. So thank you for everything you've done for all of us.
From the minute I entered Irene's life, I knew that my life had changed. I have been blessed to be graced with her presence and her wisdom. When the award program began in 2021, and I remember reaching out to Shirley and Irene. They came in and we made a video. I had always been so appreciative of these ladies' support to this award program from the very, very beginning. A sincere thank you to both of you ladies for that. It really, really meant a lot to me.
Her willingness to give back through civic participation is a true testament to her character. She's someone who is always first in line to selflessly give of herself for the betterment of others in our community. And we are better off because you decided to call Dickinson your home.
Irene is here, so I would like to ask her to come forward, please.
I'm supposed to say something. Thank you for the award. There really was no plan in my life to get to this point. It was like one thing after another, and most of it has been fun. And as I tell my friends, I haven't worked a day in my life. It's been all play. And every one of you guys need to go out and find some way to help build a great community too. Find something to do to make something better. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. It was a really nice night. It was a really nice night. Great words were shared for just a super gal. It's so cool to honor these people. It's really nice because they deserve every single bit of it. Our next deadline is already next week. Irene's award was actually our August award, and because we do it 4 times a year, and so our next deadline will be November 15th, next week, Wednesday. Again, the categories are leadership, customer service, innovation, stewardship, and also Good Samaritan, random acts of kindness. As always, the nominations are blindly given to the mayors. They don't judge it off of who it is, but rather the deeds that were done. It is a very fair and non-biased process. The nominations can be submitted through SarkCountySheriffND.com. And yeah, we look forward to honoring another very deserving Sark County resident very soon. So thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for all the work you do on this. Also, thank you, Irene, for all you do for Stark County and the residents in this county. You do vital work, and I'm sure there's no retirement in your sideline. It's tight with the retiring, I'm sure. I really appreciate all you've done for us, and you're very deserving of this award. Next, we'll go to the sheriff's report.
Chairman, Commissioners, might look like I was crying, but I must have a cold or something.
I think you used that excuse the other night.
Yeah. October highlights for the Stark County Sheriff's Department. Total calls for service, 1,559. This is up from 1,221 last year. There was 177 traffic stops. This is up from 146 last year. You'll notice a decline there, but the weather and some of the other things that follow led to a little reduction in traffic stops. 344 public relations stops. This is up from 195 last year. 15 bar checks. That's up from 6. 8 theft-related calls for service. That's down from 12 last year. 17 canine usages. Truck rig had 3 stops and 34 additional calls for service. We responded to 40 accidents, which is awfully high. And the weather was a big contributor to that, obviously. 0 pedestrian, 0 fatality, 4 hit and run, 7 injury, and 29 property. We had 11 prisoner transports, 17 court transports, 2 medical, 2 juvenile, 1 assist, and 2 mental healths. Civil division had 186 attempts, 16 subpoenas, 128 civil papers, and 19 criminal papers. Those numbers are pretty good considering Mr. Badilas is out of the country. He'll be back here shortly. Again, the patrol stepped up and helped out quite a bit with that, so thank you to them for that. Had 103 total arrests, 67 of those were warrant served. I had spoke to both Commissioners Franchuk and Messer about this in regards to our Belfield contract. Obviously, Belfield is a smaller community in Stark County, dealing with some financial strains and burdens right now. We have obviously they pay for 2 of our additional deputies. One of those, I shouldn't say that, one of our deputies has recently been deployed to the border. He will be there probably into 2025. It is my opinion, and it was my suggestion to them, and obviously they agreed wholeheartedly that we should forgive 1 month of that contract, which they preferred to do after the new year to help them out with 2024. But being it is a financial obligation, I need to get your guys' approval on that.
Yeah, look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we forgive 1 month of the Belfield contract upon recommendation of the sheriff. Should I specify the month or just say?
Just 2024.
For 2024.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote then. Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Clares.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
This is for one individual for the year of 2024 or for 1 month?
Just
for
1
that
month.
individual?
Just 1 month.
Their
So
contract.
obviously we hired another position, a detective position. They pay for 2 deputies each month. So this is actually would be 2 months of 1 deputy, but yeah. Halloween, I just want to let you guys know Halloween went fantastic this year. We had events in Richardson, Belfield, which was completely cold as can be. And then we had the 2 in Dickinson, Halloween, and Trick or Trunk downtown. Everything went extremely well. Great turnout considering the weather. The mall was busier than ever, so it was good. Oaths of office, obviously this has been a big thing in our community here recently. I'm sure you all are aware of the going-ons with that. I guess we are going to put our own little spin on this. It's not going to be a policy thing, so I'm not going to dictate another sheriff or the sheriff after me sticks with this. But while I'm in office, I think, and why I'm doing this is a veteran got up and spoke at the city commission meeting that night, and his words kind of stuck with me and resonated with me. And I think what we're going to do at the sheriff's department is do an oath of office every January, basically to remind myself and my staff why we're here and who put us here. So you'll see a renewal of oath of office every January for myself and all of my staff. So just something I think that makes sense for law enforcement. So any questions on that? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next, do the road department.
Well, good morning, everyone. Got a few items here. I guess the first one is I'm requesting some out-of-state travel for the 28th and 29th of November to have some of the guys go down and tour the Caterpillar factory. You know, I think one's in Peoria and the other one is in someplace down south. I'm not quite sure exactly where. I know they changed their plants around, but so I need some authorization for out-of-state travel.
How many people are you sending?
6. And I'll get the list of people when we kind of put it together here. So
Is this training or just travel?
just travel, just to tour the factory where the motor graders are being made.
And look for a motion to
There'll
approve
be no
this travel.
expense to the county. They'll pick up the airfare and everything. They got their own plane. They'll pick us up.
I'd look for a motion to approve this travel.
What, would have to let Joetta know if it was
Right.
approved so that she could do any workman's comp or?
Right. Well, I'll give her the list of people that are going to go so that we know that who's not, or I mean, who's going to be
I'll
gone.
make that motion.
Have a motion to have a second.
I'd second.
Second, any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried.
And the next item, it's been something we've been working on with that claim for liquidated damages on the project. I think everybody's come into agreement, and I have is with Amanda, and she recommended bring it up to the county commission meeting. It's going to be split 3 ways between Martin Construction, Rinker, the box maker, and Stark County. And the 3-way split is $26,666.67.
Would be our share, right?
Our share. I have to find out. I believe they held this 80,000 out of their pay estimate, so I got to find out from the state how that affects us back. I think it was just withheld out of their progressive payments. It's the first time I ever had this, so I'm kind of in the dark how the next game plays.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we authorize payment in the amount of $26,666.67 for the resolution of the, I don't know which project it was.
I'm sure I got the project number here somewhere. It's not on this here paperwork. I do have it somewhere, but we can make sure we get that
I'll
on the
just call it
resolution.
the Martin Construction claim.
Okay, I have a motion to have a second.
I'll second that.
Have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
And then another item, I guess we all know it rained and snowed, and some of our roads are in really horrible shape. That's kind of what happens. And our worst problem we're having is with the new gravel that was put down right before the snow and rain. You know, it's chewed up, and we've got all our blades out catching the roads that we can blade, and we're going to continue to try and get them caught up. I always say, you know, Mother Nature brought it to us, so she's got to help us fix it. And kind of sound like our weather's going to get nice. We're going to get some wind, and hopefully it'll get dried out so we can fix it. We haven't had a lot of complaints. We had a few, but just have some patience so we can kind of, you know, the gravel actually has to get really cured out. And this fall, with all the rain we've had, some of our gravel just never got baked in hard enough, so it just took on the moisture. So other than that, I talked to Jim with Interstate. He's not going to be here today, and neither is Jeremy, so you can take them off of the agenda. So, but other than that, I don't have anything else other than
The resolution for the project that Bronco Brothers got.
Oh, you have that? Okay.
It's a resolution for approval of project BRJ-0045076. It's for a project that's been awarded to Bronco Brothers. We need a resolution approval on that for the chairman to sign that bid. The bid was for $618,995.49.
That's the box covered over by Butterfields. that we've been working on for quite a while.
I'll move to authorize the chairman to sign the contract for the 0045076.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. He said interstate is not gonna be here.
And I can kind of talk for Jeremy, we've still got them 2 box culverts. I believe the boxes are built. It's one over north of Belfield by Talkingtons, and the other one is south of Belfield, south of the gas plant. I think our completion date is next year if we have to, depending on what the weather does and whether they want to take a chance of getting them installed. So that's kind of up in the air yet. I think when the weather turned really bad, they said no, but maybe now the weather looks pretty favorable, so I'm not quite sure if they're going to go in or not this year, but there is room if we got to put them in next year for a completion date. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
Thanks.
Then we'll go to Highland Engineering then.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Schrank with Highlands Engineering. 3 projects again today to update you guys on. I've got several updates since we prepared our letter here, so work with me here. But the first project is 80th Avenue Southwest. This is a bridge replacement with a box culvert kind of southeast of Richardson. This was constructed earlier this year. This says we're about 90% through our final paperwork, but we did submit final payment and all of our final documents to the DOT. So pending their final review and approval, this one should be able to be closed out here soon. The next project is the one you guys just awarded. This is 83rd Avenue Southwest, northeast of Richardson. Bronco Brothers was the low bid. We did have 7 bids, so a good turnout, a wide variety of bids, as you can see here. Quite a bit of variability, which since COVID, that's kind of been the norm, with suppliers not really holding prices for too long. But the low bid there was about 1.1% below our estimate, so pretty much on budget there with that bid. The last project is our low water crossing project. This says we had not heard back from the DOT. We did finally hear back at the end of last week on their low water crossing guidance. It seems like they just had an issue with our using of the word low water crossing. They don't really have a definition for that. So in our opinion, in these projects, we're using the roadway to convey some of the runoff for our design event. We consider that a low water crossing. Apparently the DOT does not have that definition. So all they've asked us to do is take that wording out of our environmental document and plans and resubmit. So we had submitted our environmental document back in February. I did revise that here this week and just submitted that to them yesterday. We had submitted our preliminary plans to them on July 7th. I did resubmit those here yesterday. Currently, this is scheduled for the February bid opening. I guess we'll see how long the review takes here to see if we continue with that or if we'll see another push back in this schedule, but we're finally getting some motion on this project again here now. And with that, I would stand for any questions you may have.
So what do the feds call them projects? If it's not low water, what do they call them?
We're just calling it a crossing. We took out low water crossing and called it a crossing. So that's simple, move forward. I guess at least we didn't have to redesign is kind of the positive side of this one, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
Next we go to KLJ.
Hi, good morning. Andrew Krebs with KLJ. Here to just give you an update on a couple projects. So our roundabout west of town, we completed the field work for the cultural surveys and the preliminary topo. So the next step is to get our surveys processed and start working on some layouts, which we'll go over with Al when we got them kind of put together before we get too far into it. Just a reminder, the project's currently programmed for 2027 construction, but the goal is to get it ready ahead of time if funding becomes available. Our second project is that chip seal east of town. So the final plans, permits, certs, they've all been submitted to the DOT. I was speaking with the DOT yesterday and they just want us to break out some of the quantities, how we're showing them at the beginning of the project. So I'll need to make them updates and get them resubmitted, but it shouldn't impact the bid date, which would be December 8th. And that will be through the DOT. So is there any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, just one quick question. when we push these projects way out there till 2027, it probably wouldn't be bid to 2026 when it says because of federal funding. Is there anything that can be done that we accelerate some of these fundings? Because we all know that these projects just expeditiously keep going up in price. I see this one's a federal and a county funds, but
Yeah, so what this one was that HSIP funding, so they start programming the funds out that far. They will say, like when we go to the federal aid meetings in October at the conference, that it's possible if you get them ready that, and they got if they get extra funding or other projects in that program kind of slip, then you can come in and bid it earlier. So, I mean, I don't know, you might realistically get a year earlier. I mean, 2 would probably be a real stretch, but I mean, it's probably gonna be bid in like November of 26 or 25. But yeah, that's kind of the goal, just get it ready. When they're out that farther, it usually takes them a little longer to review everything because it's not high.
The frustrating part is that road was just built past all the federal standards. It's a safety concern issue, yet safety gets pushed out for 3 or 4 years. I just think that's a little frustrating, so.
No, I understand, but
Neil, I think the roundabouts in Dickinson that they're proposing over from the Willie Wind Shop and Martin's Old Shop, I think the bid date that is what, 26?
yeah, them are 26 and they put the application in the year before this one, so.
And then one thing, Andrew, I went to that meeting they had over there, and we talked about concrete roundabout or asphalt. And the reason they said, they made some suggestion about asphalt, because if you've got to make a repair in concrete, it's got to sit 10 days, and what do you do with the traffic in a roundabout? So I think we got to really research our options of making that roundabout asphalt. So if there ever is a repair, you go in and cut it out and pave it the same day. Concrete's got to be set back 10 days, and what do you do with the traffic? Because there's only so much room from the ground.
Yep, we'll take a look at that.
Well, that'll be the same issue as when they're building it.
Well, when they're building it, you'll probably have a temporary
that's probably
roadway
true.
for them to drive on.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we'll go to the public hearing. I do Inklet tax properties, public hearing. That's scheduled for 10 o'clock, so we're gonna hold off on that. Okay. I guess we can go then to, since Southwest Art and Science Center funding request. You want to go forward with that then?
Hi, I'm Janelle Stoneking. I'm the board president for the Southwest Art Gallery and Science Center. We appreciate your time today. We had come before you earlier this year to educate and just provide information on our project and where we were at as far as the work we had done to educate the community and citizens in this region, and the programming that we had piloted for our youth, and just updated you. At this point in time, we are at a very wonderful crossroad. We are moving forward with the building purchase of the old City Hall building. We've been blessed to have support of a local couple who is doing a lease-to-own contract with us. Part of that contract is us putting $500,000 down by December 15th. So we have been meeting with community members, corporations, and other entities seeking support to move forward with the purchase of this building. So we had submitted a letter to you just explaining the project and where we were at, and we are honored that we're here today to be able to make this request.
Anybody have any questions?
I guess I don't have any questions. I got some concerns. It just seems that there's some lack of unity within your organization from some of the social media stuff that I've seen and some of the conversations I've had with some of your members. What do I got here? You have that newspaper. You do have a business plan, I guess. I'd like to, probably have a chance to review exactly what, I mean, because right now you own, you really don't own anything. You know, you're coming to us for money. If you renovate this building, buy this building, renovate it, and you walk away from it, the owner of the building's got a renovated building, and we're all out our money, you know? I mean, I would rather see coming, once you have everything in place, for support. I think this is more of a city project, although we are community orientated. And I know it sounds negative, but when the gal was putting together the Friendship Park, she came to us at least 4 times that we've asked for different types of information that she couldn't answer for us. There's nothing wrong with coming back again, but at my point at this time, I'm not really ready to, I mean, I think an art gallery, art organization is a great thing. I'm not ready on my vote to give you that support at this time.
I don't know if you want to, I just have a question, and it's kind of the follow-up on the question I asked last time you were in front of us, where you said you had $300,000 in your bank or in the account. And I tried looking last night for and I apologize, I didn't get the information on the remodel costs that you had proposed to us. So it's kind of a follow-up question, probably along the same lines as Bernie, is you have 300 in the bank, you have to come up with 500 to put the down payment on the building. And so do you know off the top of your head what the remodel cost estimate was that you were gonna do?
So the initial remodeling costs were estimated around $400,000. Of course, that was at the beginning of the project when we first walked through with some parties who were kind of giving us our numbers of what we could anticipate. We have had, I mean, this project has been really since the beginning with the brainchild of former Senate Majority Leader Rich Wardner, and he wanted to see us in this building. And so we love the downtown location. We love the opportunity to stay downtown and be close to Legacy Square and really help rejuvenate and use that property to something good that can really make an impact. One of the things that has happened is we do have an oil company who is, right now, we're in the works of a lease agreement for them to lease the basement of the building for 3 years, which the basement space was what was originally going to be planned as the Science Center. That would hold up the Science Center component in its entirety for those 3 years, and then plus renovation time after. So we're looking now at our plans for the main floor of the building, how we can use that main floor to do both the art and sciences in the meantime. This will give us the opportunity to continue our capital campaign and get the funds, the revenue that we need in order to move forward. And the beauty of that is we can take the main floor and begin programming and begin doing the work and building the rest of the foundation. So with that lease agreement, if the terms that they propose in that lease agreement, which is in the works, I think Friday is when we anticipate getting that from them. We'll review that at that time, and our board will make a decision. We feel that puts us in a really good position as we move forward for longevity. In response to Bernie, for your question, if I may answer, there was another group, an art organization that we used to be a part of that had spoken against the project at the city commission meeting. And we have tried to remedy those issues of what any concerns they have. Unfortunately, they are not interested in resolving and developing that relationship further. So for us, our priorities is moving forward with positivity and making this project happen to develop our community and offer these educational and artistic opportunities.
I think it's a great project. My concern, as a follow-up then, what happens if your lease doesn't come through? What is your plan B financially to make this happen? Because we talked about this before, where you can't consistently be in a negative cash flow year after year after year, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at, is show me a plan that this financially sustains itself, and then it's much easier to get on board and support it versus the other way around. We're financially supporting it, yet we don't have a sustainability plan.
That's why I said a business plan.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm at. And if you would be so kind, forward me that previous information you forwarded a couple months ago to us, because I can't find it, so.
I'm sorry, I thought the business plan was attached to the email that I had sent for today, so, and it may not, but
I
we
don't
can,
see it,
we can certainly send that over again. That is no problem at all. We appreciate that. In the business plan, we also do have the revenue streams that we will have for sustainability, and we feel good once the building is up and running that this plan of action should do just fine without needing ongoing sitting or accounting support. We don't intend to rely on grants for ongoing funding, although we will supplement what we're doing with grants and things in the areas of education, STEM, and the arts. We will have revenue streams from commission of sales from the art gallery, from the retail store that we'll have in the building, membership and drop-in rates for the science center. A key revenue source will be the birthday party space. We anticipate that will help us tremendously. And the classrooms for learning and education, which can be rented. And we have many components in that business plan that talk about even the corporate team building things that we will offer, as well as the rental of the gallery for receptions or parties. So there's quite a few revenue streams. It's a complex, really comprehensive plan that we feel strongly about once we are in place.
Just one last question then. Fundraising, where are you at as of today? I know you have the building component of it kind of covered. So how is the other, you have all these opportunities. The city obviously has committed some funds to it.
Can you clarify the question? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, outside of the city making a commitment or a pledge of $500,000 over the next 4 years, I mean, do you have a lot of small commitments, bigger commitments, those kind of things, I guess?
We have been working really diligently to meet with a lot of the community organizations, and at this time, there are many in the works, although we have nothing right now on the books. And so this is a key time for us. We have engaged partners for naming opportunities, and so we have not yet seen confirmation of any of those at this time, but feel really good about some of the support that we will receive. Mm-hmm.
So now, the money you're trying to raise now is for your down payment?
For the down payment, and also in order to get our executive director into a paid role. That has been one of the biggest challenges, because all of us who are a part of this, we have a lot happening in our lives and have other jobs. So in the last 18 months, we've just been hustling. And as my husband says, it's my second full-time job that's not paid, which is fine. But in order to move forward, we need to get him in a paid role. And so Dustin can really plug away to help us move this thing to the finish line.
Well, hobbies are expensive.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Sorry, my name is Dustin Young. I'm the interim executive director. We've also received an additional $20,000 from the Power of 100 Women for our outreach program, and that's where something that you guys would be interested in is our outreach to the other more rural areas in Stark County, other areas that we want to make sure that aren't left behind when it comes to this sort of programming and outreach. So we're going to Richardson. We're going to Belfield and Taylor and all the other areas in Stark County to make sure that kids and people of those areas have the opportunity to learn and do STEM and art opportunities. And so we are also reaching out to those communities to make sure that we provide the certain programming that they think is lacking in their schools or in their area, so that we can benefit, because not everybody can make it out to Dickinson, just like everybody in Dickinson can't always go to Bismarck to the Gateway to Science or to Minot to the Discovery Center. So we're just trying to make sure, and I'm from a rural town in Minnesota, and so I know the importance of having some of these. We always had the bookmobile come, and so it was like a holiday every month in the summer when it came. And so we are really excited to bring some of these programs to those more rural areas.
Can you guys provide the information requested before the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's mainly what we're all.
Yeah, I had a question. I guess, I don't know, just the mechanics of this contract. So you're asking for a down payment,
It's an option to purchase?
Yeah, we're just trying to build up the down payment so that it can keep our, the mortgage down, and so right now we have 300 of the 500 that is requested, and so we're working towards that and working with the banks to make sure that we can get that, and also with our generous couple that has decided to do a lease to own agreement with us, and so we're just
You're talking about a $500,000 down payment term on the contract. Ultimately, you're going to finance the balance of the purchase?
Yeah.
Or are they going to carry you?
They're going to carry us.
Okay.
It's going to be a 5-year plan, and at the end of 5 years, we have the option to purchase the building in the remainder.
So then, once you purchase, then you're gonna still have to fundraise to do renovations. I mean,
And that's a part of the reason why, like, we are working for the lease agreement with the potential energy company. And so we are just working, and that gives us a little bit of flexibility to where we can ramp up our programming and still do outreach, and then still have a space. And so the original plan was only for like maybe to lease out the space for 1 year, but we're working on a 3-year agreement, and so then that will adjust our ideas of how we can do our outreach in the top floor. So we'll probably, instead of just being arts and art school or art classrooms in the top floor, we will adjust so that we can almost have like a temporary science center for people to come in and have that experience with kids, and it's going to be for people of all ages. So we're going to offer classes. It's just going to be a slight adjustment and have something on the top floor, while the energy company is in a lease agreement with the lower floor.
So ultimately, you want $500,000 to get this thing kicked off for the purchase of the building. You have a 5-year contract. What's the annual payment look like?
It's about $7,000 a month.
Okay.
And then that's plus utilities. And so we're just trying to make sure that we can maintain that. And so that income from the lease agreement will pay for, the most of the utilities, and then also will pay for the most of the mortgage payment. Okay. And so that would kind of leave us at a level playing field, and then also give us some time to, ramp up the capital campaign. Because everything kind of happens so fast. Usually capital campaigns are stretched over a few years' time. And so this has been kind of consolidated and compressed into a few months' time. So it gives us a little bit of leeway where we can still offer some of these programs.
Basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
so in your business plan, you do have the potential rent from that.
Yes.
The dollars that are included in that.
Yes.
It'd be nice if you'd sign a 5-year contract with them, actually.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We're working. The 3 years is open ended at the end. If we or the leasee needs an additional time, then we can kind of work through that. But right now, we just wanted to do the 3 years because that's where our business plan kind of focuses on, is a 3-year business plan. We can extend it, but we'll just see where we're at when it gets closer to that.
So you're talking about $400,000 of renovation to kind of just get you off and running, right?
And that was to build the entire science center and everything. And
Top to bottom?
Yep, that'd be top to bottom. So it wouldn't be quite that extensive with the lease agreement. And so right now we're just working on, focusing on getting that lease agreement done, and then seeing where we're at, and the renovations is pretty minimal on the top floor, especially if we're not going to have like the water table and other intrusive things where we have to rewire and replumb some areas of the building to make sure that it is sufficient. So, but it's really just a bunch of walls that we can move around. And
Well, that's what I was going to ask, is the space that you have that's currently there. I mean, can you use it as is for a while, get through, these first years,
And that's
poor
exactly-
Boyd, if you will. I mean, just get through it until you get your building paid off. And
that's exactly what our goal is to do as minimal renovations as we can in the first part while we have this revenue coming in from the lease, and so we're just trying to make sure that we can kind of steer into the skid, so to speak. It's like one of my favorite quotes is just embrace what we have, and so that we can go build up from there. And so you're trying to spend as little money as possible while we raise money to make sure that in the end, the Science Center, which is going to be a huge boon for the community, we want to make sure that we have the best one possible, and we don't want to, piecemeal it together.
So you have $300,000 raised.
Yep.
The city's committed how much?
$500,000 over 4 years.
Okay.
So one of the questions,
I was just going to say, the other board members reminded me that we did get an award from the Dunn County Fair Board of $10,000, and the Power of 100 Women donated just over 10,000 for our outreach trailer for the steamroller project. So I did not mention those.
Yeah. So the question I have is, when that building was City Hall, it was off the tax rolls, right? Now it's privately owned, back on the tax rolls. I'm just wondering if part of our thought process could be, if you put somebody, private enterprise downstairs, you're going to have to pay tax on that. If it was all your facility, there would be an opportunity to again, potentially make that tax exempt. That may be one of the contributions the county could look at, rather than, an all cash contribution. There would be an opportunity to do some forgiveness on tax as part of cash flow as well. But just thinking outside the box here.
Yes, that'd be wonderful for that consideration, and that's why we're here to present and to ask to see what type of partnership that the county is willing to do and to be a part of this project. So that's why we're here, and so we'll embrace any ideas that you have.
Has the space been appraised? I mean, are we in the market? I mean, Neil?
Your question
I mean,
again?
as far as the value of the building, the purchase price of the building, do we know that is
Yeah,
within the realm
I
of
haven't seen the
reasonable?
contract, but I would say, based on what I've heard, they got a pretty good buy.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Any other questions? I guess then we'll look forward to seeing the business plan of yours and then go from there next month and then.
Okay.
I have one last question. How many families do you plan to support that will be working at the art gallery?
Oh, well, that just depends.
Do you have an idea?
Right now, it's just going to be, we're working to get the full-time executive director position, and then that role is going to be kind of the jack of all trades, building manager, gallery curator, gallery maintain, and then once we get more up and running with the Science Center, we'll be bringing on more part and full-time employees. It just depends on whether this lease agreement goes through, so whatever the demand is as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
So we have anybody here from the Historical Society? Okay, you step forward then.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Destiny Wolf. I am the treasurer and board member on Stark County Historical Society. I'm also a volunteer on the paleo side of the museum. I've been there for about 6 years. So just coming this morning just to update you on the previous approved grants and how we've been doing with that. We've actually been able to employ Maddie Olson here, who is a DSU student and very, very into history. I brought Maddie's notes that hopefully you guys have all had forwarded over to you on what our plans are with the upcoming installment of the already approved funds. Go ahead, Maddie.
Yeah, so I have worked in the Pioneer Machinery Hall, which is that red building right next to the museum center. I've worked in there since January, so I've been cataloging the building, taking a look at everything in there, and putting a tag on it, taking a photograph of it, and then putting it into an online database, which has been very small up until my employment. So in working with some of these items, I've kind of gotten used to them, learned their nuances, their needs. So I've just created a little bit of report. Do you want me to go over that right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so hopefully you guys got this, but one thing that I've noticed, especially is our Twin City tractor that we have. This is an old tractor. Many people have come through and let me know that the tires often were filled with water or some type of fluid that wouldn't freeze, so that that when farmers were going over the rocks in the winter, that it wouldn't pop the tires. So that was apparently a practice, and there appears to be some type of liquid chemical something in there still, which is leaking out, and it's become kind of a hazard. We've had to put up a no crossing sign, and visitors are very interested about it, so they often flock to it. So I think that some jacks definitely to take pressure off of those tires, and then the front tires would help. Also emptying those back tires, filling them with air as it is obviously not being used anymore, would help that. There's another item, a wheel or a wood scraper. This would really need some new wooden wheels. Both wheels are cracked on the circular part, and then the spokes as well. They're just cracked, they're dry, just for display purposes, obviously, but they do need to be replaced. The next item is a covered wagon. This definitely needs new wooden wheels. Again, the wheels are cracked. These wheels do have a metal exterior lining, and the metal is fine itself, but the wood is cracked again, so that would need to be replaced. The next item is our lawn tractor, which again has wheels, rubber wheels, so really just needs some jacks to take pressure off of those wheels. They looked a little flat when I looked at them. The next item is a grasshopper bait spreader. This was kind of a handmade item that somebody made and donated to us. But again, it's on wheels, so just some jacks to take the pressure off of those wheels would be great for display purposes to ensure that those wheels last a lot longer. The next item is a John Deere binder, again on the wheels, so just need some jacks to take pressure off of that. And then the last thing that I mentioned is, so our newest donation to the Historical Society is what's called a cook car. It looks like kind of like a shed on wheels. And this was donated to us from people in Richardton. So it's our newest donation, but it is very hard to look at it from the ground level because it is up so high. So we were wanting some viewing platforms for it, just to have visitors go up to it and be able to look into it. Also some type of lighting inside of it. We have a homestead shack that is in the Pioneer Machinery Hall, similar to this, and there's a battery operated light in there. Works very well. It looks like an old time lantern. So something like that would look perfect in this cook car, or any other type of lighting. Really, it just looks quite dark when you're looking in there. So really that would be the big thing for the cook car is a platform or two platforms, excuse me, for both sides, and then some type of lighting system in there. And that's all I had for my report.
So that cook car, is that a railroad car, or is it a chuck wagon, a covered chuck wagon?
So it operated like a chuck wagon. When you look at it, it looks like a shed. There are a couple of windows and two doors, probably 3/4 of it was the chuck wagon part, room for a dining table, a small dining table, and a kerosene stove. And then
It's a railroad car then?
yes, it was built by farmers, yeah, and it was modified to become kind of what each farmer needed. And then I'm told by many visitors that it was brought to different farms and they would kind of share it. So, one farmer would have it and then cook for the...
Wooden wheels then?
Yes, yep, it is on huge, big 4 wheels, so... Yeah.
So, your tire issue,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of your tires are going flat. So are those original rubber tires? I'm assuming the chemical coming out of them is chloride because that's how they weighted them down.
Sure.
So my question to you is, if you want to keep the original component of the tires, can
Mm.
we just put inner tubes in them so that would hold the air?
That's also an option as well. Yeah, for those tires on the Twin City tractor, I don't really know the perfect solution for that right now, but that sounds like a viable option as well.
I would get rid of the chloride because the chloride's deteriorating your metal rims.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
And so, I mean, a bunch of inner tubes wouldn't, if you can get close
That
in
would
the
be the-
size,
yeah.
it would be a pretty inexpensive fix.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, so we're currently approved for about $26,000 for our next installment from you guys. We're actually asking that to be changed to about $30,000. Part of that reason, and that's going to be flexible again, depending on the inner tube thing. We're more than happy to research that and get back to you. Part of the reason why is because the most local person that did historical wheels has actually passed away in the area. So now we have to source things out from Minneapolis, St. Paul. So it sounds like it's still something that we can do here, but we would have to source parts for replacement wheels.
You're talking about the wooden wheels now.
Correct. So that's one of the things. Yep.
I had a question. So
Sure.
you said that our original request for this year was in the 24,000. So you
Yep.
did get a check for 2023, but you actually didn't have a request in that was formally approved for 2024.
Right, we don't yet. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
I just wanted
Yep.
to
Yep, thanks for the
make sure.
clarification. Yep. So that's sort of where things are at. And then the other thing that we're actually working on as well, just so that you are aware, is that it has been brought to my attention that a lot of our items are on what we call permanent loan. And that is that we normally would have things donated to us as a historical society, put on loan to us for about a 2-year period. But it seems as though a lot of those have actually fallen behind. So something else that we're going to have Maddie work on is going through our loan documents as well, just to make sure that everything is squared up in order that people still want their items with us and things like that. So just so that you're aware with that. So, yeah. Any questions about our current funding or our current projects? Otherwise, I'm going to put in an ask for the next round of funding.
Did we
So
line
you're
item
away.
anything, Karen, on this?
Huh?
Did we line item anything for this on
No, we were
2024?
waiting for their formal request
Got
to
it.
come in.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
So
you.
that she could ask for that at any time then?
Well, the last meeting, we had them on our sheet, our
Right.
distribution sheet for last year, but we asked that they get a formal request in so we know actually how much
Right,
there
I
is.
agree.
Yep.
But they don't have to wait till next year's budget, they can do that now.
Well, they can ask for it now if you want to wait till 2024, and that's fine too,
Oh,
because the budget's already,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, the budget's already done for next year.
yep, we would just have to add it in.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
When
so.
could she do that then? At any time or?
yep.
Okay. So our next project is a really big, exciting one. So right now, the way the Dickinson Museum Center houses us is in our own owned building, which is the red shed at the north side of the museum center site, as Maddie pointed out. Unfortunately, right now, our collection for Stark County Historical Society is very limited access during summer months only. With the museum expansion that is being planned through the city side of things, we actually are working with a local engineering company to draw up plans. Those plans actually include incorporating the existing structure, since our structure is sound and not very aged. We want to retain that original structure, but meld it into the new museum addition. This would essentially turn the Stark County Historical Society and Pioneer Machinery Hall into an accessible year-round part of the Dickinson Museum Center. So we're really excited about this. The whole project is going to be about in the $20 million range. We've actually applied for a $5 million grant through North Dakota Tourism. Our director, Bob Furman, has already submitted that. We know there are a lot of asks for it, for that pot of money that's available, so we're hoping to see some return on that. We know that we have support and commitment from the City of Dickinson already that will be coming on board. And so my ask is actually open-ended to you. We know that we're going to have to take loans out to be able to fund this project completely. It will be, instead of closing the museum, say, for a year at a time, we're actually going to do it in a staged process, just because we know that we currently have new things coming in on our history side, we have new things coming in our paleo side. So closing the museum altogether is completely unrealistic for us. So we know that this will be a multi-year project. So what I'm asking you is actually for an open-ended, what would Stark County like to be able to donate towards this project? So I know that we're going to be in the $4 to $5 million range of need that we still need to fundraise for, take out loans for, etc. So I'm actually going to leave this as open-ended for you. And because we're going to be being able to pay this back loan over a number of years, I would encourage you to think about a higher number payable over a higher number of years as well, so that we can really make this part of the museum. This is a wonderful opportunity for Stark County items to finally kind of get the recognition that they deserve, because they're really cool. They're really cool.
What's the size of the what's the size of the facility you're looking to put up?
So we're, like I said, so Stark County Historical Society, so we're actually going to stay in about the same footprint that we are currently in our building, but they're going to make it so that it's a walkthrough. So we're able to make that visitor path come through the museum as you currently come through, and then you're still going to be able to come through Pioneer Machinery as well. So it's not going to be an outside indoor experience. So what we're looking at doing is we're looking at least minimum double to triple the size of our paleo lab and collections area. So our collections area in paleo is overflowing. We actually have a number of items in our garage already because we have so many fossils to go through. And then when you look at our gallery display space, we're looking at adding CVB into our building so that that's accessible for visitors when they come through. We're looking at expanding our lobby area, doing more inclusive programming, so toddler areas, more science, hands-on things that we have besides our sandbox and our summer programming. We're also looking at potentially making it a really good flex space so that we can also rent out that venue. So for weddings and parties and things like that, to have a revenue stream coming in as well. So we're really going to be about almost doubling the size of the footprint of the museum center.
So you have you've applied for a $5 million grant?
Yeah.
Okay, and you want to raise another $5 million?
About there.
And the balance is coming from
City of Dickinson and loans.
10 million and 10 between the two, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to leave it up to you for debate. Like I said, I'm open to anything. We're just thankful for your continued support of our project. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dean, I'd like to make a comment. You know, they're talking about some jack stands and stuff they need, to get the equipment off the floor. With the winter sitting in upon us, we could probably custom build some type of, we got talented guys in the shop could measure it up, how high we need it, build that stand, maybe even build that little walkway. We've built walkways before, to get up and look in some of them. So if like I said, with winter coming, that's something that we could probably help out with.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Do you have any wheels with wooden wheels? with spokes?
That I can't help you with. We can sure get together with them, come up with some kind of a plan and bring it to the next meeting so you guys kind of know what we're up to.
Okay. Any other discussion on this?
So, do we want to make any type of a commitment today, maybe for the 30,000?
Well, we've historically done it, so
Right.
I think that, again, great project.
I'll make a motion that we donate, or we, not donate, but the 30,000 that they would be getting from us,
From our contribution.
from our contributions.
Was there?
And then we look into the future for whatever other things that we might need to do with them.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second. Any other discussion?
Is that 30 or 24?
30.
And you're gonna
my motion is
you're gonna
30.
put in a request?
I did.
This is the.
Oh, this, right here, yes.
Yep.
Okay, any other discussion? Not roll call vote. Commissioner Marsh?
Aye.
Commissioner Masser?
Aye.
Commissioner Claris?
Aye.
Commissioner White?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, motion carried. Okay, thanks. Then our road department will meet with you to see about those stands and platforms. Okay, we're gonna go back to our item that was scheduled for 10 o'clock, the delinquent tax, property tax, public hearing. There's to listen for public objections for any member or representative of any taxing district governing body regarding the minimum price determined on the delinquent tax properties. They open the public hearing. Is there any comment on that? Any comment on the public hearing? And ask anybody has any comment on the public hearing for the delinquent tax properties, minimum price values. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we need a motion to accept these, right?
I believe so. So I'll move that we accept the minimum value set recommendation as presented to us.
Not second.
A motion a second. Any other discussion? Not. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, Motion carried. Okay. We'll take a break here now for 15 minutes break. And is a Stark County training and development policy. Joetta here.
She was here. You might want to come back to that one.
Okay, I guess we'll come back to that since you're not here. We'll go to the Stark County Fair Board fireworks resolution.
Oh.
Through the county commission resolution, right? Are you gonna,
Oh, are we not
we'll do the fireworks and then we'll come back to you. You weren't here. This was the same as we discussed in the park board this morning on, but it's a resolution to limit the use of fireworks on Stark County property. Just looking for a motion to commission to sign that resolution.
I would move we adopt the resolution, Stark County Board of County Commissions fireworks resolution.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. A second, any other discussion?
I have a question. So if someone is, say, shooting fireworks on a county road and we come there, what is the penalty?
We don't own the county road. We have an easement on the county road. We don't own the land.
That's true.
I think this gives the county an added layer of protection. You've got this resolution, there's not gonna be like a criminal penalty, but let's say that someone sets something on fire, then we can start looking at maybe some like civil penalties or things like that, or it just gives the county some extra protection.
That's fine. I was, questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
Because there are people out here that are watching that probably have some of those questions and wondering why, so, to reduce our liability is a big thing.
And again, it doesn't apply to private ownership, it's just county-owned property, so, yep.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, then all in favor of the motion, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Now we'll go back to you, go ahead if you want to go to the Stark County Training and Development Policy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joetta Piercy, Human Resources Director. With the training and development, we're proposing an addition to this policy for out-of-state travel. We've developed the out-of-state travel request form. I think it would be helpful for you. So any department head who was, like Al came forward earlier, he could have a form within your packets so you would know where he was going, how many people, if there would be any costs, that sort of a thing. And also if it, you needed to approve a budgeted item for it. If it was not budgeted, then you could decide whether they could use some funds that we, had identified or set aside for training and development too. So with that, we added just a bit to the policy that we added the out-of-state travel request form would be submitted to you, and then it would include travel dates. So then that would give me some idea whether we would need to look at getting workers' compensation coverage during that time, and then whether it was budgeted or unbudgeted, so it was clear to you whether you needed to approve monies.
Okay, anybody have any questions on this policy?
So this is just a piggyback on what we did a year ago. You're expanding into out-of-state travel. The reimbursement is still post-event, right? We don't do the event, or we don't do the reimbursement if there is expenses till after that seminar, or is that correct if I remember right?
That's right.
Well, if somebody's traveling though, they have to make their travel arrangements.
They still have to make the trip before they get reimbursed for it.
That's because we had if there was some kind of continuing ed, they had to get a certain level of passage, and I thought it was all.
This is not the tuition reimbursement. This doesn't have anything to do with that,
Okay,
if that's what you're talking about.
Well, yes.
Okay.
How often is travel just like spur of the moment need to go? I mean, usually it's planned, isn't it? And a month or so in
Right,
advance.
yeah. Usually people request out-of-state travel at least a month in
So
advance.
if it was budgeted, I mean, this would just be put in our package to show that they're going to travel. If it was not
FYI.
budgeted, we would have to approve it.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the tuition is the only thing that's reimbursed. There's something
After
in
the
my.
fact,
Got
yes.
it. Okay.
So if I, wanted to take a course or something at DSU, I would have to commit to pay for that, and then I'd apply for reimbursement type of a thing, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve this policy.
I'll make that motion.
Gonna make a motion, do I have a second?
And second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Then we'll do the Blue Cross and Blue Shield county plan.
All right, so our renewal rates came in, and they were a little higher than we expected, I guess, or wanted them to be. Our current plan, the Blue Access Plan premium, went up 17.1% to account for our usage of the plan this year. So we went out and we looked at another plan that might fit our needs better. And they do have a Your Blue plan, which would be a 14.77% increase, so it would be a little bit less for us. It would save us money as well as the employees because of the cost share on those plans. There are some benefits with this other plan. When you go to an in-network provider, we have lower deductibles. Out-of-pocket maximums are about the same, but it also has flat ER copay, so there's less unexpected expenses. It also has a pharmacy value plan, which covers things like diabetic supplies, medication, heart medication, some maintenance things that you have to take, and most of those are a flat $5 copay. And that would probably, impact at least 34 to 35 of our staff. So with this plan, we would be looking at a little bit, better. We would be looking at spending $150,081.60 more per year, and the employees would have to share the $34,000. They would have to spend $34,000 more a year. Where if we stayed with the current plan we were on, we would be looking at $160,581.12 a year, and the employees would be looking at $36,425 in premiums. So I'm recommending that we move to the Your Blue plan that you have in front of you.
Any questions?
So a year ago, we had this discussion at about the time of the budget. It would have been, I know they were slow in getting you the information, so now we're post-budget dealing with this. I don't know how much we allowed in our budget for this. And part of it goes back to the year before. I'd be interesting to know how much we've upped the expense from the county side, because we went from, what was it, 60% to 80%?
We played 75% for all plans, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just,
So, Neil, I did budget not for a 17% increase. We knew that there was an increase coming.
Sure.
So we will have to add some expense on to the amount budgeted for the insurance under the 2024 budget, but it is, I think I gave Dean here the number about what it would be short. That's the total budget. So we would be, I would say, I budgeted, over $1 million, but we're probably going to have to make up about 100 and something thousand, I would say. with the increase. You know, we did have this discussion last year because we knew it was going to go up. And Joetta did the research to find out how much ND PERS wound up going up, and it was very significant. So I think they said, what, 24?
It was close to 25, yeah, 24.63% their plan went up.
Yeah, so I don't think it was a bad thing that we switched over off of ND PERS, because that would have been a real kick in the butt. But when we looked at the increases and the plan differences here, I think the biggest complaint we had about our current plan was the prescription coverage. Is that correct, Joetta?
Yes, I mean, well, whenever you switch plans, you always have to pre-authorize everything over again and make sure that's on formulary and that sort of thing. So we did go through a time period. I think we got most of those figured out. But then this adds an extra layer of, I don't know, pharmacy is always complicated, but this kind of helps uncomplicate it a little bit. And the whole premise of this plan is that people get care, they get that maintenance care so that, you know, something bad doesn't happen, which of course costs them and the county, you know, money when, or insure money when that happens. So, you know, you want to make it easy for people to access care is what I'm getting at.
So we will have to amend the 2024 budget for the increase.
What is the 2024 budget? What do we have budgeted for Blue Cross Blue Shield?
$1 million.
I think it was $1,003,000, I believe it was.
And under the blue policy that you're recommending, it would be
1,338,000
or?
Yeah.
91,264 would be our share. Yeah.
Okay.
So what?
So we're not actually too far off,
yeah.
but we will have to amend that by about $90,000. So.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate the employees don't do anything to really raise our premium. We don't do anything to raise our premium, but it is, I guess from this chair, pretty frustrating to have to look that in the eye every year and have to.
Do you think for 2025 that they will get you an increase before we finish our budget for next year instead of afterwards? Can they get it to you before June, July?
Probably not.
2024?
No.
That's too much?
No, because they
that's too
have to
much.
take, because they base these off of claims experience. So they usually you get it in
Of
October.
the previous year only, or
Your current year.
of the
Claims
okay.
experience, yeah. Well, last year they didn't have any previous year, but that would probably go into the factor here.
Every budgeting season, it's always
Late.
a guess on the insurance side, and then we just have to see what it comes back
What
to.
do you normally propose, a percentage increase? Because do you put 10%, 15%?
I was thinking, well, I was hopeful. I was hoping like 8%, but
I think we planned for, but it's the first year working with them, so it's new water for us to be treading in.
I'm just glad we don't have the 24%.
And I think most plans, from what I've read, saw double-digit increases, unless you run a self-funded plan that you have a little more control over, what you set your premiums as. But that's a little more risk when you do self-funded plans. But though, all nationwide, this is coming from SHRM. All plans almost had double-digit increases because they saw very little increases in 2021, 2022 during COVID.
Okay.
We saw that. We only had 1%, 2% increases, very little. Yeah.
So this went up, we were planning for 8%, it went up.
14.77.
It went, the year prior it was 10%, right?
That was a different company.
Yeah, that was the PERS
ND
one.
PERS,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we just need to, next year, go to 15%
Well,
maybe, and.
Next year, it probably won't go
Maybe
up
it probably
like
won't
that.
because it's all new.
Yeah,
But at least if we do, then
Yeah.
we're not over budget, we're,
Well, what I'd also like to see is just an option or a calculation that if we say that we're acceptable to 10% increase, let's say, what does those dollars buy you? What would we have to do to stay at a 10% increase as far as potential increased deductibles or those kind of things? So at least we're making an informed decision.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like basically we have one option. You approve the plan that's in front of you, and that's not really,
I mean, I can get you those things. I mean, we can start looking at higher deductibles, excuse me, higher copays, but high deductible health plans, but that's really not, I mean, the direction that I
don't think our county
then
employees
you're
would want that
hindering
either.
care. Then
Yep.
people don't go get
Right.
their health care taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll look for a motion to,
I move we go with Joetta's recommendation.
for the Your Blue policy.
When does this have to be signed and approved?
Soon, because you got
This
open
month.
enrollment.
We hope to start open enrollment tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion to amend the 2024 budget and approve the new Your Blue premiums for 2024?
If you want, you can wait to amend the budget until maybe December's meeting, and I can get a more
Okay.
exact amount with it coming through.
So your motion, Bernie, is to approve the Your Blue plan premium?
Yes.
And I'd second that.
Okay, a motion and a second, any other discussion?
So is this the Your Blue NGF or Your Blue 8050?
80, 50, 8,500, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? The roll call vote, then Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Messer.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to the NDSU Extension FCW position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Freilich, NDSU Extension Agent, Stark Billings County. Where'd he go? Behind me. Jim Gray is with the NDSU Extension. He is the West District Director. Jim, I believe, is going to hand out, well, starting with his business card, but he's also going to hand out a deal about the FCW position. As you all know, our former FCW agent, Holly Toohey, her and her husband, they had a baby. Adeline, back September 16th. Holly has decided to focus her energies on raising her family. So that brings us to today. We are sitting at the position of we need to visit about refilling the position. Step one of that is the permission from the Stark County to go ahead and refill that position. That position is currently funded 50% by the county at the salary level. State picks up 50%, and the state picks up all of the fringe benefits. So, and I believe we did have it, Mr. Claris, we did have it in the budget, because at the time, when we went through the budgets, Ms. Holly was still with child. We did not know that she had those intentions. So we're here today just to ask you, and I believe, Jim, do you have any comments?
Sure.
Thank you, Kurt. Again, my name is Jim Gray. I'm the West District Director with Extension. I work out of Bismarck. Handed out my business card. We recently changed offices in Bismarck, and so if you have my contact information in your phones, I have a different direct office line. The cell number and the email are the same, but my direct office line has changed. So if you ever need to reach out to me with questions or concerns or positive feedback too, please feel free to do that. So in your packet are a few things. The big document is just a description of Extension and who we are and what we do. Again, we offer educational programs to adult and youth audiences in a variety of things. One of the areas that we work in is called Family and Community Wellness. You should have a handout here that talks about the Family and Community Wellness Program. So those agents do programs with food, nutrition, and health, healthy aging, a lot of human development, family science classes, leadership and civic engagement, personal and family finance. So those agents do really good work. And Holly was doing really good work. And I'm sorry that she resigned. Her last day was this last Friday. Also in your packet is a copy of the position description if you want to see it. But this would be what we would hire under. And it goes through those duties of the agent. And it's a mix of adult, family and community wellness programming, and 4-H work. All of our agents do work with 4-H. And the first step in this process is for me to answer questions and hopefully get permission from the commission to begin the recruitment process to refill.
Anybody have any questions?
So what's the compensation, work compensation? I mean, we paying 50% of it. I mean, are you starting a new person at the same wage? Or are you starting them at a lower wage and working them up?
So we have a set of salary guidelines that's based on education and years of experience. So we've got a minimum salary for bachelor's level agents and master's level agents. That salary will really be set together with the county commission based on the person's education and years of experience.
And this was approved and for budgeting already, right?
Right.
So.
Correct.
The resignation went through the proper channels of a written notice. It's no longer, you just need to fill this position.
Yep.
So, I guess I'd look to motion to approve them to start seeking to fill this position that's been vacated.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
Have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dick, you want to step forward and?
Thank you for your time. My name is Edward Dick, and I've been here in the city since 2011 at 1:30 in the airplane. Two guys before me walked away. They didn't get off the plane. They didn't get off airport property. They got back on the plane and left town. I love it here. I should have been here 50 years ago. My focus is to build the indoor range and training center. I've been at it for 5 years. My wife thinks longer. I finally found some property I think will do very good, very well for an indoor range and training center, 37 3rd Avenue East. With that, I need to apologize to the city of Dickinson because last month when I was supposed to be here, I was at that zoning and planning meeting. I had a fire chief, a police chief, city planning people who were at the meeting, and they said, "Why don't you tell us what we're doing?" And I said, for 5 years, I've been talking to everyone in the city that I can talk to about a gun range, a training center. And they said, we've never had anybody, and I've talked to 44 of the people that said, I quit. I am tired of fighting City Hall. They looked at each other, and I'm literally not exaggerating. They looked at each other and said, we've never had anyone come to the city of Dickinson for an indoor range. My focus right now is to raise the money to buy this range, $600,000. I need 20% down. I'm not requesting that from you, but that'd be nice. It'll cost about $40,000 per lane, that's 7 lanes, to get it operational. I can build the classrooms and the simulator as necessary as we get more money. But it should be profitable the day I open it. The Action Target out of Utah, they want a 90-day lead time to put stuff in. So they have one of their people come out, make sure they can build it to our specifications or to the Army Corps of Engineers, and that will work. To expand on that, when the city people said that they had never had anyone come to the city for an indoor range, I said, so if I build this as Army Corps of Engineers, ADA, fire code, which I'm a firefighter, no problem. And they looked at each other and says, no, you'd be a welcome addition to the city. We just need more money. The problem I'm having is people want to say, the first thing they say is, where's it going to be? And, well, has anybody else invested in this? Invested time and material is my focus right now. I have a building, I can build it. We have the technology, we have people that want to play, but they want the building. And I've already spent over $75,000 of my own money just to get this far. So my tax man is not here, he's on vacation. Otherwise, I would have about 6 revenue streams showing you what we can do with that. In about a year, I should have it paid off, and we can go into rifle range, archery, and those other things. So I'm going to build it to the specifications for the police and that they can build at that. The simulator will be available for the police to do that. So they're training, so they can train year-round. And this is an indoor range. I will not sell guns. I will sell range ammo, and the gunsmith will supply any special guns that people want. But I won't sell guns. I won't retail them. So I'll only sell range ammo and accessories. So not to be in competition with anybody. Any questions?
So your range ammo gonna have a ceramic bullet instead of a lead bullet, or what?
I bought some. I was in Fargo the other day. I'll be there this week. And it's just usually lead-covered bullets.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I know some places where I go where you gotta use their ammo. Yeah. It's a ceramic bullet, it's not which, has different issues with the EPA and stuff like that. You don't have to be quite as strict as you do with the lead gases and stuff, so.
It's, the cleanup is 80,000 rounds. I should do that about every 6 months. I'll have it cleaned out and recycle that brass and the ammo, and so the range ammo will be less expensive than regular over-the-counter stuff.
Then for your backstop, is that gonna be recycled tires? Is it gonna be a bullet trap? What are you doing?
I have the option of both. I already spent money for a bullet trap, but the decommissioned tires, ground-up tires, will stop a .50 caliber at 3 feet. So that's the cheapest way to go for right now. So, yeah, tires.
Do you currently have a contract or like a pledge or anything from the City of Dickinson Police or the Sheriff's Department that says they will use your facility?
One of the lieutenants who was at this meeting last month said, if I build it to the specifications for the law enforcement and have a simulator, they can use it, yes.
They can use it, or
They will.
plan?
They will use it, yes. I have nothing written because I don't have a building yet. So I can't get a building until I have some people investing. I can't get anyone invest until I get a building. So it's both sides of that.
I guess I would like to see, just like we told the other people, I'd like to see a black and white business plan written out. That's the first thing anybody ever wants to see is.
Indeed. And I will have revenue streams involved with that also, business plan. Yes.
Okay. I think your reason there is just kind of update us on your plans, right?
Yes. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, next we'll go to the 2022 sub-political audit costs.
So I just wanted to ask the commission if you are okay. So currently, the total audit cost with Stark County's portion, JDA portion, and the Water Resource District portion, we had a total audit cost of $26,802.58. And then I broke down how much was the JDA portion, how much was the Water Resource District portion of that audit. This is for 2022. We will pay the whole bill, but then I need to know if the commission wants to invoice the JDA and the Water Resource District for their portion of the 2022 audit.
Any discussion?
You have total other subs listed?
No.
It's all minimal amounts, or they're
This is the only,
The zones that we actually.
that's
get
the only
billed
ones
for.
that are included in our audit. Yep.
So the question is, the JDA is funded by us.
So we kind of, we put money to one pocket to the other. right?
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't, I'm not 100% on the Water Resource District. Karen, you could
We
help me
are
out.
currently not milling any dollars for our Water Resource District. I think that has to do with the fact that they had a significant balance at one time and they're working through that balance.
Okay.
So this is just up to the commission. If you don't want me to invoice them, I won't. I'm just making you aware that, they are included in our
Should we
audit cost.
send them an invoice so there's just a paper trail there?
Well, if I invoice
We
them,
paid
then it's.
anyway,
If,
right?
if we invoice them, we have to, they'll have to pay it, but I would be in favor of just us paying it since it's part of our taxing district anyway.
Okay.
I think one of the, again, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here. I'll just pull out the JDA for an example. Audit cost $1,693.41.
And then 2277.
2277.34 for the Water Resource District, but the JDA I am very familiar with because I'm on the JDA board. But we send the JDA their checks 3 times, 4 times a year. Karen, correct?
Actually, I think they get it
Or is it
monthly
monthly?
with like our entity.
Okay. Well,
disbursements.
just so you're talking a handful of transactions there, and then the JDA turns around and funds Stark Development just as a pass-through, just because that's how the statute says to do it, several times a year, and I'm just going, $1,693 on the audit to do less than 20 transactions just seems to be, again, separate discussion. But it's very frustrating to me, but.
We did come at an overall price of $26,802.58 for the 2022 audit. That also included our single audit for the federal ARPA funding. We did come in quite a bit under budget at that $26,802.58 mark than what we were. I think our budgeted amount was about $35,000. So I am happy with the overall cost. I think that, like I said, those other portions are other entities, but I mean, just our Stark County portion with our single audit was only $22,831.83. And so I was fine with the overall bill. And this cost is less than the 2021 audit and also less than the 2020 audit. So.
Still, I'm not happy. So I would move that we pay the invoice and not do the pass-through.
I have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Then we go to the CD renewal.
We had one CD that came up for renewal here, and actually, we got kind of good news for us, probably bad news for consumers who are going after loans, but our DDM rate for our Brevera account went up to 5.1% yesterday. So that's what our return is on our current sweep funds from our checking all of our DDM, basically all our money in there, at 5.1%. We did have a CD come up for renewal for $500,000. It matured yesterday. So I just need to know, these are the percentages and the CD lengths that I received back from Bavera, Dakota Community Bank, Gates City Bank, Choice Bank, and Cornerstone Bank. And the CD terms, I need to know if the commission wants to just keep the $500,000 in our sweep fund account at 5.1%, or if you would like to put it back into a CD at 12 months or 24 months. Yep, it's the last page.
So the CD would be at 5.4%, the DDM is at 5.1%.
Yes, so the DDM is at 5.1. We could do a 12-month CD at 5.41% or a 24-month at 5.31%. Those were the highest ones I got back. Currently, Stark County always had over $6 million in CDs. Right now, we have $4.75 million invested in CDs. With, I think all of them are now between Dakota Community and Bravera Bank. So it just depends if the commission wants to just keep going with the DDM account, or if you want to have more money in CDs, because we still have other money that we had cashed out and put into our DDM account already. So I'm okay with whatever the commission wants to do. I think we're honestly, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen in the next year. So I'm fine either way.
To me, it looks like the best is go the 12 months, the best rate on that, the 5.41, but
Plus, it doesn't tie it up. I mean, it's, a year goes by pretty quick, so I mean, it's tied up for a year, but after that, it's back on the market.
What's the, just to get off the subject, what are the expirations of the upcoming?
Most of them have been renewed. It's kind of, some of them kind of start in the middle of summer, but we had two expire here, and we just had it moved into our DDM account because we're kind of seeing where the rates went, right? And so they were just collecting at that time 4.75%. And so I guess it just depends how much the commission would like to maintain in CDs, whether or not, what amount you would like in CDs. It doesn't really affect our regular cash flow. So I guess if the commission wants to up that from 4.75 and put it back at 6 million in CDs, we can do that too. I just need to know what you think. Because right now it's just in the DDM account.
I would move that we purchase a Bravera 12-month CD at the 5.41% with the one that just matured.
I would second that.
a motion and a second, other discussion?
Where was that DDM account been all year? What's the highest it was?
It was 4.75 and it just moved up to 5.1. As of yesterday.
Any other discussion? Not, then a roll call vote. Commissioner Messer? Commissioner Marsh?
Aye.
Commissioner White?
No.
Commissioner Claris?
No.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. Next, we'll go to the courthouse stoop completion. Mike?
Just wanted to give you gentlemen an update on the stoop. It is finished, and we did come under 30,000 under budget, so that was good. And it was a pain in the butt. It went a little longer than we wanted, but we really didn't know. I mean, that was kind of the catch-22 on it. So,
You run into anything that they were surprised at?
Well, there was a lot of tar, so back in the day, they used underneath the concrete and everything that was sealed with just, must have been a mop and a tar bucket. So when they got that opened up and saw the new product that went on there is like a polyurethane type product, and you can't have it touch any oil base. So WINS guys had to grind all the tar off and scrape and dig all the tar out of the cracks. So that took.
That was a job.
That was, they really did.
And the weather got a little questionable there too for you.
Yeah, you can see the snow tent on the stairs. The stair guys had a heck of a time trying to get that mortar set in between the stairs and trying to keep the moisture off the melting stoop that was finished. And they used an insulation roll for a moisture barrier and tarped it and tented it. And it took them about a week to just get the stairs set and mortared. And they did a wonderful job too.
And Wynn did all that.
Well, Wynn did the concrete, and then we hired a second company out of
Okay.
the city's stone company,
So
Mason.
that's a company that had the stone.
Yep. So, and then me, Andy, and Travis, we all painted the front. I re-stenciled the letters. We sanded and repainted the handrail down below, so that looked new. And then we kind of ran out of time. There was a few other things I wanted to get accomplished, but it just wasn't going to happen. So, yeah.
Showed another talent you had there, the lettering on.
Yeah.
What's that?
I just said, excuse me, you showed another talent there, the lettering there on the painting there.
Yeah, I don't know. I got one black spot no one's seen yet, but I had to take care of that in the spring. But yeah, well, it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with it, and I just hope it lasts another 40 years. So that was the goal.
You also showed another talent, and that's patience and fortitude, because this was a pain in the. But
It
you
was.
did.
It
You
really
did a great job over the years getting people there and making it come in at a.
Yeah, a job that nobody really wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and thanks to Wynn Construction.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for your work on that.
Is there anything else?
You guys need to confirm Courtney to the park board.
Oh, right. Okay. We need to appoint a park board member. They're looking for a motion.
I'll move that we appoint Courtney Prathis to the County Park Board.
A motion, a second, other discussion? Not all in favor, state aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carried. Anything else? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to leave.
So moved.
Okay, motion second. All in favor, state aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried.